Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest and greatest episode of Game Rivals. I'm one of your hosts, Maxemillian X, and as always with me is the one, the only, the Slytherin to my Gryffindor, Sean Templar. How you going, Sean?
I'm okay. I got COVID. I'm surviving, but I'm anything but Slytherin. So I'm no
What are you,
sneaky ass.
Hufflepuff?
No, no. If I was to choose one, I'd definitely be Gryffindor. Hufflepuff. If somebody's a Hufflepuff, you're a Hufflepuff, man. Come on.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out when I finally put on the sorting hat.
Yeah, on your
Um,
Switch.
I we'll get into that though.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. But yeah, it's been quite a ride for you, hasn't it?
Oh yeah.
This
It's
past couple of days, week.
Yeah, I mean, I
Uh,
got tested positive for COVID on Monday because I woke up with a sore throat and a runny nose. And I was like, okay, let me just go get tested. And then as the day progressed, I got worse and worse. I'm like, yeah, I think I got COVID. And then I got my results that evening and it was a positive test for COVID. I'm like, yeah, I can finally join the club after 2 years. Yeah, and
Aw.
it's been like a roller coaster the last few days, like feeling better, feeling worse, feeling better, feeling worse. But I think I'm finally getting over it. I have like a few like coughs and runny noses left.
Mm.
But besides that, it's going in the right direction. So
That's good. That's good. Glad to hear that.
yeah, shit is real, people. It's not. I didn't experience it as intensely as you hear it on the news, but shit is real. Just go and be careful.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But COVID aside, the world still keeps going on, and gaming will do what gaming does best, and that is deliver a lot of news. There's so much to cover, and we can't cover it all. But just let's start with what we were already been teasing at the beginning: Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes.
That one is super weird on so many levels that we finally got more information because it was a state of play of all things,
Yeah.
and it's not a Sony exclusive, and they didn't announce anything Sony specific.
Yeah.
So we are not 100% sure why this was the case, how Sony got the exclusive to present Hogwarts Legacy, but here we are. Um what did you think of it?
I think it was. I mean, like when it got announced 2 years ago, I thought this game is never going to come out next year. And then they pushed it last year to this year, but it's coming this holiday season. Um,
Hmm.
it looks really cool. It looks really interesting because it's set like 200 years or something like that before the Harry Potter things.
Ish, yeah, it
Yeah,
takes place in the late 1800s. They said, like,
yeah,
specifically the late 1800s,
and
which I'm okay with. I'm happy with that.
yeah, and um, yeah. I mean, like they showed a lot of stuff in the state of play, and it kind of feels like a bit overwhelming with the amount of stuff they have. It felt like, and we have this, and we have that, and we're doing this, and we have this feature, and that feature, and blah blah blah. And blah. Like, whoa, you're just adding so much stuff to it, and it's this massive open world game, so that's really cool. Um, but it just feels so strange because they're like feature bombing you and like and I'm like, okay, but just show us like a vertical slice, show us something that we can kind of relate to this and kind of see like how all these mechanics and features play out instead of just saying going Oprah Winfrey mode and saying like, and this and that and this and that. I'm like, yeah, okay, just because a lot of people been checking online, a lot of people are like, yeah, it feels a bit off that they're doing that. It's like almost like they have something to hide or something, and I'm like, I cannot imagine they have something to hide. It's just that the game was so silent for a long time, and that they're probably just want to make a splash when they announce it. And maybe the reason that it was done through a state of play is that sometimes the games don't have exclusive content or rights, but they get like the exclusive on marketing for some games. So Microsoft does this with Battlefield, for example, or with the Division, with a lot of Ubisoft games. And Sony has that with other games like the Call of Duty games or with Destiny. So maybe this is like that the marketing rights are exclusive to Sony, so that people think like, oh, okay, PlayStation is the best place to play this, even though it's coming to like almost all the platforms out there, even to the Switch, which
Mm.
nobody expected.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sheesh. I mean, if you saw the state of play and you're seeing all the particle effects and stuff like that going on, it's like, wait, that's coming to Switch, really? Okay.
It won't be as
Um,
pretty, I could tell you, because we saw the PS5 version. But
the only thing that I can imagine is that it's a cloud version, and they just haven't said that it's a cloud version.
yeah, I was thinking that as well because I don't want to take insult to the Switch because people know that I make fun of the Switch, but I like my
You make a
Switch.
lot of fun of the
I make
Switch.
a lot of fun of the Switch, I know. But like honestly, I have a Switch. I like my Switch. I don't use it as often as my PS5 because I like the Sony games more. But and I hate to make this comparison, but if it is a native version of the Switch, I am really afraid, or at least that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from all of this, is like, and the comparison might be bad, but it's how it feels like that if you play the Switch version, it's going to be like a PSP version. Like back in the day when the PSP got games, sometimes the PSP version was a unique game on its own, and sometimes it was just like a really ugly looking rip of the main game on the console. And it's not that they don't want to, but I think it's literally that they're running into hardware limitations with the Switch at this point because I honestly don't think mobile architectures are as flexible as like PC architectures, whereas you can easily make games on a Xbox One and on a PS4 for 10 years because we're getting to that mark, and the games will keep on
Mhm.
looking better and better and stuff like that. Whereas with the mobile architecture, it's just completely different because you have thermals and batteries you have to keep in mind. Plus, it's a mobile CPU. There's a power constraint. So in this case, it feels like the idea behind the Switch is still really cool that you can take gaming on the go. But the fact that a lot of games are, you see it with Pokemon, like people are like, yeah, but the game is not open world or the game doesn't look as pretty as we thought it would. I think like we're going to get to the point where a lot of games are going to look less on the Switch. And that's not because people don't put the time and attention into it, but that's really because of hardware limitations. And it will put more pressure on Nintendo to come up with something new.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with any of that. But yeah, like I said, the odds of it being a cloud version is pretty high, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If they do try to do a one to one thing, I'm super worried. The most unlikely thing that they will do is have a bespoke Switch version, which is what I would go for. Like
Yeah.
if they made a bespoke Switch version, like yo, that's cool. Because they made like remember back when they did the Ghostbusters, the video game,
Yeah.
and you had like the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox and the PC version,
Yeah.
and then you had the Wii version, which was like a very bespoke version of Ghostbusters, which is kind of sad because that one is lost to time now. Because unless you have like the disc, you can't find that version of the Ghostbusters video game.
Yeah.
And that one takes the strength of the Wii. You know, uses the motion control, uses the pointer. The visuals are more in tune with the not with the movie, but with the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It's kind of like more like that. And I kind of miss that approach to video game design, like per system.
Yeah.
I know it costs more because you have to make a very specific version and you have to get a specific team to make that version.
Yeah, but like the Switch has
But
sold
it's some
over 100 million, so I mean, it is. You would say it is worth the investment
oh,
because,
it's definitely worth the
yeah,
investment. People are actually buying games on Switch now,
yeah. So like, there's this
unlike with
huge,
Wii.
exactly. So there's like this huge, basically untapped market that's being dominated by mostly indie games and, well, let's face it, a few AAA studios like Nintendo and a couple from Japan. But like for the Western developer community, it's doesn't have a big presence there. And usually, if a third party Western publisher does something, they do a piss poor job of it. I mean, look at FIFA. And whereas the idea
Don't even
of,
get me started on
yeah, but
FIFA.
like the idea on FIFA on the go would be amazing. Like the same with
It
GT.
is amazing,
Yeah,
but they haven't touched that game since
I know,
2018,
I know.
2019.
But the same for
So
GTA.
bad.
Like GTA on the go. I remember that you got excited because you said like, "Hey, this is
Yeah.
finally GTA on the go." So you would expect them to put all the resources in it to make a proper GTN. I mean, heck, The Witcher is even on the Switch. It's not the prettiest version out there, but like if you
But it's
can
running better than GTA.
that, plus if you don't have a PS4 or another console, and the Switch is your only one, it is in a way a possibility to experience The Witcher. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like it's easy for us. We're not developers, but I mean, I would definitely buy more on my Switch if they actually made an effort to make bespoke Switch versions. Because I mean, like, you know, that's, yeah, just do it. I mean, it's easy to said than
Yeah.
done, but there's a lot of money to be made from it.
No, definitely. Yeah. If you do it right, you definitely will get a lot of sales out of it. You'd at the very least get the critical acclaim from it.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Doom and Doom Eternal.
yeah,
I mean, they're not the best versions, but in terms of a Switch part, they are flipping amazing.
yeah, definitely.
And I'm not even like a first person shooter fan. So,
Yeah, that's why I'm really hoping like that. If Nintendo does either a Switch Pro or a follow up to the Switch, whatever it's gonna be, like I feel like it from a power point of view, it needs to be like a graphical leap in where it comes either really close to what we have now from the Series X and the PS5, or maybe even surpass it a little bit because it needs that to fill the gap to stay competitive. Otherwise, you'll get it almost feels like they'll go to something which is a little bit more stronger than the PS4 and the Xbox One. But I'm like, yeah, okay, but we're past that point. We need you to, even though you're doing your own thing and you're in your own market and blah blah blah, which are super cool things to shout out, which sometimes doesn't really mean anything. But like you need to kind of like get close to the other guys, because the Switch is, at least for me and for a lot of people, for I hear, is it's a secondary system. You have your PS5s and your Xboxes as your main console, and you buy your Switch as an extra. And I know for you it's the other way around, but I mean, like, if it's an extra for me, I really want cool games to play on it, so it gives me these unique experiences. But it also needs to look the part.
yeah, true. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's this dry
Yeah,
cough.
I mean, yeah, again, I do agree with that. I know that's done for most people. The Switch is not their primary console, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
How you play your consoles is how you do it.
yeah.
Um, and I do feel that because at least the recent comments from the president of Nintendo is that the Switch is halfway through its life cycle.
I don't believe that.
Um, to be fair, that means that the Switch they that doesn't mean that this is gonna be it. They could still iterate on the Switch and still call it the Switch.
Yeah,
Um, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see until that time. Um,
I
but
really
it's
believe if it wasn't a mobile processor, they wouldn't have to deal with that part.
maybe, maybe not. I mean, I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
Who knows, right? But speaking of knowing of stuff, one thing that we did know, but is now official: Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League,
yeah,
is officially delayed till 2023.
yeah,
Before it was rumored,
yeah.
yeah, and now it's been officially announced by
Rocksteady.
Rocksteady.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't believe that game was gonna come out this year because it would be really weird if they brought it out this year because then it would cannibalize Gotham Knights because that one's also coming out this year. So it doesn't make
Mhm.
sense to have two DC games in the same year. Plus,
Well, they were both supposed to come out last year,
yeah, I know,
and then they both got delayed till this
but
year.
even that, like it doesn't feel logical to have two DC games in the same year. Either then you have to spread them out and say like you'll do one at the beginning of the year and one at the end of the year. But we all knew that the Gotham Knights was when they announced it was coming out in October of this year. I'm like, yeah, but Suicide Squad is nowhere near an earlier release. It's only going to be later. So you know,
Mm, I mean, yeah, but also I don't see like they're the same type of game. I mean, they're definitely not written the same.
They're both superhero games.
Kind kind of sorta, right?
But that's
Cuz
how
they're not
average Joe would see it. It's like, oh, they're both superhero
yeah, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Um I mean, yeah, I guess we'll see until 2023. I'm looking forward to it more in the sense of I'm curious what it's going to be like
Yeah, because it's been almost 10 years since Rocksteady brought out a game. So
since Arkham Knight.
yeah, did that one come to the Switch or was it the other Arkham games?
No, no, I don't think they haven't done like a collection. Have they?
They did like
Have they done a
of the
collection?
Arkham Asylum and the Arkham City, but I don't know if they brought it out on Switch. They did it on the PS4 and the Xbox
No,
One.
it's not on Switch, no.
Oh, I thought it
Which
was
is
on Switch.
really funny because there is a Wii U version of Arkham City, which is actually really good.
I
It
th-
was buggy when it first released, but it was actually really good. I have it on my Wii U.
really,
Might
I thought
actually stream
Arkham
that one of
City
these
was
days.
out and Arkham Asylum was on Switch, or was it rumored
No,
to?
Asylum did never came out. Never Asylum never came out on a Nintendo system. It was only City.
Oh, it was leaked. So that's what, like, I think last month there was a French retailer. That's why I thought it was. There was a French
Mm.
retailer that leaked out that there is a collection coming to the Switch, which has all three games: Arkham Knight, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham Knight. And it would be the placeholder date was August 31 of this year.
Ooh, okay, then maybe E3.
Yeah, because the Arkham Collection came out in 2018 for the PS4 and the Xbox One and the PC. So
I mean, stranger things have happened.
yeah, it could be like a way for people to get people excited for the in the mood for for Gotham Knights, which is coming out a couple of months later. So it wouldn't be weird if they did it right.
No, yeah, I mean, no, but also it would be weird if they did, since our Gotham Knights is not coming to Switch.
Is it now?
Is it?
I don't know. Maybe like a cloud version or something. It
I'm
feels
pretty
like
sure that if it was coming to Switch, people would have heard about it
oh,
already.
okay. I feel like everything's possible with the cloud version, but that's not always the best way to play something.
Yeah, no kidding. No, but you know what is the best way to play?
Before I do that, because we're on the topic
Yeah,
of cloud gaming, put a pin in
yeah.
it. Don't forget it.
Okay.
Microsoft created a new division that is solely going to focus on cloud-based games.
Well, okay, that makes sense because of Xbox Cloud Gaming.
Yeah, it was announced, I think, yesterday or the day before, and
Hmm.
it's going to be led by Kim Swift, who previously worked at Valve, and after that, she went to work at Stadia. So it's a pretty obvious
Why does that
hire.
name sound familiar?
I have no idea, but she worked on Portal and Left 4 Dead at
Thank
Valve.
you. That's why her name sounds familiar.
Yeah, and so she went to Stadia, of course, and um, now she's the head of the Xbox Game Studios division, and they're going to focus on publishing cloud native games.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hope they run better than the ones that are not native.
I haven't tried any of the cloud gaming stuff that
It's
actually.
not bad. Like I recently tried Skate 3.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
but it's not there yet.
Let me put it this way, it's not GeForce Now.
Is GeForce not that bad? That much better?
No, I mean, when it's really working, when it's stable,
Yeah.
heck yeah. If you have a wired connection, mm,
Okay.
pristine.
Well, I'm getting.
Wi-Fi is challenging because then you
Yeah.
have to deal with your Wi-Fi,
Okay.
your home Wi-Fi. So it's not GeForce Now's fault. You
Okay.
just have to make sure that your Wi-Fi is stable.
I'm getting fiberglass internet next week, so or in 2 weeks. So I'll give it a spin. Yeah, finally,
So
it's happening. And the funny thing is, I'm gonna
I
pay
s-
less for faster internet. I'm gonna pay less than what I'm paying now, and I'm gonna get a gigabyte up and down. Whereas now I have theoretically 500 mbit down, but I get like 300, and my up is like 50. So uploading a YouTube video will be like super fast finally.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Gotham Knights not coming to Switch,
Oh,
so
okay. That's a bummer.
just check the website.
Yeah.
Just check the website to be sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, speaking of stuff to be sure of, is are we sure that we are ready for a new Witcher?
I
Because they
know the
announced a new Witcher.
I know
It's
a
not
lot of
coming out
people.
anytime soon,
Yeah.
and it's gonna use Unreal Engine 5.
See.
And it's a partnership with Epic. They haven't said that the PC version of this game will be an Epic exclusive, but it's way too early
Yeah.
for that kind of talk.
Yeah, because
Doesn't mean it can't be the case.
they're also still working on the Witcher 3 next gen update, which I am
Isn't
personally
that supposed to come out super soon?
I hope so because I'm really looking forward to it because I never finished The Witcher 3, so I've been like as soon I think they announced this update 2 years ago, and I'm like I'm still waiting for this update.
Well, they messed up a game so bad that everything got delayed. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still surprised that they already put out the next gen update for
Cyberpunk.
um, Cyberpunk.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
gotta
that's me.
remember, Cyberpunk came out in December 2020, and they eventually last year, like I think halfway through the year, they just stopped doing updates for Cyberpunk, and this is the first big update. So like, they probably took 6 months to just work on the next gen version, which is something they should have done from the start. But hey, you know how shit
Hmm. And even then, like the ray tracing is like I think only on shadows.
goes.
Super weird.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, like I remember
Yeah.
back then that even the Stadia version was considered one of the best versions to play.
It was the way considered to.
Yeah,
So
which is
sad.
just crazy. I mean, yeah,
It makes it even sadder because Stadia is pretty much well dead again. So
yeah. But let's not dig up that old horse.
no, let's not. Let's not. Let's not. But um, let's speaking of digging up stuff that is dead. There's a new game buster Ghostbusters game that was announced,
Yeah,
which is going to be a 4v1 first person shooter battle against spooks, specters, and ghosts.
yeah,
It's I think it's called Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
yeah. It's made by the same
Uh,
studio that did the Predator game that came out a while back on the
and Friday
PS4
the
and stuff.
13th.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which like the Predator game was not good, but Friday the 13th was.
yeah,
But because of licensing, they couldn't work on the game anymore. Um,
yeah.
which kind of really sucks because they didn't get the licensing correct, and that's why because they got like sued over it or something, or sent a cease and desist. So
Oh
they
man,
literally couldn't work on the game anymore, which really sucked. And then they got the license to do the Predator game, and
yeah.
that wasn't as good. But
You know
I
what the
think
thing
the
is with
problem is more with the license. It doesn't work for the kind of game that they made with Friday the 13th.
you know the thing is with but that's my feeling is that a lot of these type of games usually have like this multiplayer where it's the humans versus the monsters or the aliens, and
Hmm.
but and again this is only my feeling, but I feel that that type of multiplayer never works because it's always that like one side is either cooler to play with than the other side, so people always want that side, or it's there's like this unbalance in which that it just doesn't compare. Like one side has firearms and the other side it's the same with like Left 4 Dead multiplayer or Back for Blood
Dead by
multiplayer.
Daylight would probably beg to differ though, because that one usurped Friday the 13th, even though it came out after, and it does literally the same thing that Friday the 13th does,
Yeah,
but it uses they have like licensed characters, but they're mostly DLC characters.
yeah,
But it mostly uses like unique spooky characters
yeah.
of their own creation. But they do have licenses. Like I think Jason is one. I think Jason. No, not sorry, not Jason.
They have a
What's
lot
it called again?
from
I think
the
like they have a bunch of
yeah,
like horror characters that you can be,
yeah. But that's like a
both
unique
licensed
game
and
on its
original
own. Like,
creation.
I mean,
But
there.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same kind of like game design.
Yeah, that's like the only
That's the
one
thing.
I can think of that actually works because it's But there, I would say like it's cool to play as both sides because both sides offer something unique. Whereas with something like Predator, I'm like, yeah, you make it really sound unique, but I'm not convinced by it. And the same goes for stuff like Back for Blood. I'm like, no, man. In zombie games, you want to be the guy that grabs the gun and blows the zombie's brains out. You don't want to be the zombie that has rechargeable abilities or something like that, because they need to do
Yeah.
that. Otherwise, it's too overpowered. So, like, with those 4v1 or whatever type of multiplayer games, 9 out of 10 times I would say like meh. And then Dead by Daylight is the exception on the rule.
Yeah,
That's
true.
why I'm not
You,
excited for the Ghostbusters game. 'Cause I'm like,
yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I'm not also not that
if it's
hot on
like
it. I mean,
PVE, it's cool because then
it
it's like
looks
co-op.
fine.
Yeah,
Like from the trailer and the screenshots, it looks fine. I mean, you get to use like all the Ghostbusters equipment, like proton packs, particle towers, ghost traps, PKE meters, stuff like that.
that's cool.
That's
Yeah,
okay. Mm, I don't know. We'll see. We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah,
You know what? We might also see finally Sony making its move.
yeah.
Yeah,
It made another one this week, and it's gonna make another one next week. So yeah,
actually, yeah, Sony is making moves. I
yeah,
mean, we got the. I mean, you were right with your prediction, by the way, with Jade Raymond's Haven Studio being bought by Sony,
yeah.
which is kind of interesting because they started off investing in the studio still hasn't put anything out, and then now they're like, okay, we're just gonna buy it outright. It's like, well, why didn't you just buy it outright?
Yeah, but I think that's what I mentioned. Like it's maybe that they're doing this wait and see approach in which they kind of want to be sure that the studio they. I think it's like
But the studio still hasn't put anything out. So what was the point of the wait and see?
probably that whatever they showed internally has either promise or it fits into Sony's overall strategy because Sony has said, I think it's Herman Hulst that said it that they're not going to step away from the single player experiences people are used to from Sony, but Sony hasn't done or doesn't got hasn't a lot of games that are like with the live servants element. And between now and 2026, I believe they're gonna come out with 10 live service games. They've said so.
Hmm.
They have a few in development, and I mean, like live service games have a hit and miss reputation. Some leave a bad taste in your mouth, like FIFA Ultimate Team or
Ugh.
some of the Ubisoft games. But I'd say like maybe something like a Destiny, or I personally like the Division. That's not a live service that really forces stuff on you. That's more like
Mm-mm.
you can buy the expansion if you want. If you don't want to, you can still play the game. You can buy the cosmetics if you want. You don't have to. So it's more like player choice. And I think for Sony, there's gonna be some missteps because that's happening now with Gran Turismo. But I mean, you gotta be honest. If they don't make the missteps, they don't know. It's the same like with Halo Infinite. I mean, I don't know if it's fixed, but the battle pass is super grindy. So like that's also like a misstep for them, and they need to learn from it. You kind of need to make mistakes first to learn how to do a proper live game. You can't just people can't expect you to do it right the first time.
I
And
mean, that's why they bought Bungie. It's to
exactly,
get the experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if they also bought Deviation Games, the former shooter Call of Duty studio that personally I think had the worst review ever because they did like the review last year during opening night live for Gamescom,
Oh, right.
and they
I
were
keep
like,
forgetting their
"We're gonna
names.
do
Like,
this super innovative game." Like you don't have to. This is not an elevator pitch to the audience. We just want to know what your game's about. But like we strive for innovation. We're gonna do super innovative stuff. Like we don't care. We just want to see what you're working on. You don't have to wow us because you're gonna get our money
oh
anyway if you
no.
bring out something cool. It's not like we have 1 million
Uh,
to give you up front, but if you make a good game, we'll give you $60 each.
mm.
That studio was so weird. But they're working on a multiplayer live service, so like that
yeah.
again is like a potential for Sony to buy. Apparently, there's even I don't know if it's true, but there are rumors that there's even a live service game in development in Guerrilla. So maybe that could be like that SOCOM game that's been rumored for a while.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Um, But also a possibility is that next week, maybe by the time that this episode is being live, or maybe not, or maybe afterwards, who knows, we will know finally what that rumored Game Pass competitor is from Sony.
Yeah,
Codename Spartacus. Seriously, what's with that stupid code name in
it's
there?
weird the
I'm
way you put
Spartacus.
it
No,
in.
I'm Spartacus.
Yeah, it's
No, it's weird how I say it.
yeah.
Spartacus.
Please don't. But yeah, it's a rumor. So Bloomberg got some documents in hand that's talking about the service, and
Hmm.
it's like all the information so far has always pointed in the same direction that it will be a multi-tiered service consisting of three tiers, and the first tier will be your basic PlayStation Plus, that is like what people have now, and then the second tier will be like game streaming and stuff like that, and oh no, that's the third tier, and the second tier will be like certain games or discounts or whatnot. Apparently
Hmm.
now they will add blockbuster titles, recent ones, instead of
Oh,
older stuff. But for some
okay.
reason, they're mentioning that God of War Ragnarok will not be part of the service, but that's like a one outlier. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird.
Hmm.
But they said that recent games will be part of it instead of just like older games.
Better,
Yeah,
better,
I mean,
better.
but you can't.
You kind of can't do it
Yeah,
when
you
your
can't just.
competitor is doing it, right? Like
Yeah,
they've essentially backed you into a corner and they're double dog daring you to do it.
yeah,
And if you don't do it, it's like, oh yeah, well we win still because you're offering an inferior
yeah,
service at that
yeah.
point.
Like, who would seriously use it then? I mean, yeah,
Wait, PlayStation Now is available on like PC, right?
yes. And this
Mhm.
will be part of PlayStation Now. Will be part
PlayStation
of
Now,
this
yeah,
Game Pass.
of this.
Yeah, so it's
That's actually good. Yeah.
yeah, it's a mix between PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, and then because PlayStation Now also offers PS4 games that you can download those and just play them offline. So I think that's
Yep.
kind of like the element that they'll just add PS5 games, and there's rumors that they'll add PS1, 2, and 3 and PSP games to the service. I mean, like from a
I'm
content point of view, Sony could have a unique position because they can offer a lot of games from their back catalog of like generations of games. It's just that, like, are people waiting for it? Plus, you kind of have to nail the new games coming out as well. You can't do like this retro Game Pass competitor because people are like, well, we don't care about. Okay, some people will, but a lot of people are like, yo, but where's the new game? I want to play Returnal, or I want to play Horizon Forbidden West.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if they for some reason put out Xenogears on this service and Brave Fencer Musashi, to me it would be the best service ever. As a JRPG fan who looks at like the resale market of these kind of games and kind of has to cry in a corner because it's so flippin' expensive.
Yeah,
Thank you, eBay. Um, yeah, I'm really curious. I'm not saying I'm excited. I am absolutely curious what this is going to be like, what the final name is going to be, because that is a stupid project name, but that's because it's a project name.
they've had weirders in
I
the
am
past.
inclined to believe this rumor because it is by, of course, Jason Schreier and Takashi Mochizuki, and they tend to be on the ball
Yeah,
when it comes to like these kind of rumors. And I mean, it's not speculations because were aware that they were doing something like that.
I think they'll do it in the form of a state of play, probably, or maybe they could even do like it's something simple as a PlayStation blog announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a good point. They probably might just do a PlayStation blog
yeah, out of
announcement.
the blue, like bam, and it's there.
Yeah. I mean, if they do, we'll try and like talk about it as soon as possible instead of waiting for the next episode to come around. So look forward to that.
Yeah,
Um, Speaking of looking forward to, I am actually looking forward to picking up a very, very nice game called Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And apparently, a lot of people are, or at least a lot of critics, are really, really, really recommending Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Kirby's first 3D outing. because it's been scoring actually pretty good. If you go to OpenCritic, it sits at 85 average, with 93% of critics recommending it, which is actually pretty big because the last couple of Kirby games have not been that well regarded. The last game was Kirby Star Allies on Switch, and that was for a lot of people, it felt way too samey and safe. Even though it was a game that was supposed to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Kirby, people feel like for the 30th anniversary, this is like a way better celebration of like the Kirby franchise, especially since Kirby has never been in 3D before. At most, it's been only 2.5D. And the last really good Kirby game, at least according to, again, critics, was Planet Robobot on the 3DS, which I did not pick up. Not because I don't like it, but at that time there were so many games I was playing on the 3DS. I did not have time to pick up Planet Robobot, and I still kind of regret it. I do need to find either a physical copy or download it digitally on the eShop before that goes down. Because I still do want to experience that game. But yeah, it's doing well. I mean, I played the demo. The demo played really well. The game looks really good. Even Digital Foundries was like, yeah, this game looks actually really solid. The only thing that's kind of disappointing that it's running at 30 frames per second instead of 60. But honestly, who cares? It's a platformer. You don't necessarily need the 60, unless you really. I mean, the only plus side is that it looks good. So. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely picking that up, of course. This is this the February ended on a high note. March was kind of a bit of a slow burn in terms of releases. I mean, we got Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, and Babylon's Fall. Okay. Um, at least next month we're getting, for, at least for the JRPG fans, we're getting Chrono Cross Radical Dreamer Collection. I'm so excited for that one as well. Um,
Yeah.
because I've never played Chrono Cross before. I have played Chrono Trigger many times, but never Chrono Cross. And it does come with the visual novel story that takes place between Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross called Radical Dreamers, which is only available in Japan. So that makes me super excited. Um, but also maybe a little bit exciting. And I'm cautiously optimistic about is Ubisoft working on some really big stuff, mainly a new Prince of Persia, maybe, and some more Assassin's Creed reveals,
Yeah.
possibly.
I,
Which is kind of funny because they still are working on that remake of Sands of Time that got delayed indefinitely.
yeah.
So we don't know when that's coming out, if at all. And now we're hearing rumors of a new Prince of Persia. Oh my gosh.
It's
They
so
never even like finished the new, like the other new Prince of Persia that came out in the Xbox 360, the really colorful one.
the
It was just
associated
called Prince
one.
of Persia,
Yeah.
the Cell Shaded one. That one never got a sequel, which is super weird.
There was a
Um,
leak last year of a Prince of Persia game that they were working on, but it got cancelled. It was they were working on it after the cell shaded one, and that one was a far more darker, grittier cell Prince of Persia. I'm kind of like in Warrior Within vein, and it had like this
mm-mm.
open world, and it was like literally like, oh, okay, this is Prince of Persia with Assassin's Creed influences.
Were you almost gonna say it in Dutch?
Yeah, I was gonna say gewoon.
Perfect, man.
Yeah,
That's
I really did
perfect.
that. But I was like, oh, okay, this is funny. But yeah, I don't know. This Ubisoft Forward or whatever it's going to be called that's coming out soon. Apparently, it's going to contain a sequel to Immortals: Phoenix Rising, which of course was a good game. Still haven't played it.
Mhm.
And they're going to announce that Ubisoft that Assassin's Creed spin-off that's supposed to be in Baghdad, but that game's supposedly going to come out next year. And then after that, they'll probably do Assassin's Creed Infinity. They're of course going to show the X Defiant game that I honestly don't know if anybody's waiting for. That free to
Nope.
play game for the Division, the
Oh,
Heartlands.
Division Heartland.
Yeah, that one sounds interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it sounded like a bit of inspired by Escape from Tarkov, which is pretty unique and cool. Um,
Hmm.
and the funny thing is that starting the PS4 generation, Ubisoft was actually pretty like you knew every year what was going to come out from them. But it feels like these last 2 years, they kind of kept missing it and missing the moment, and
I
then they
think internally they're still struggling with
yeah.
everything that's going on
Yeah,
there.
and like so now it's like a big question mark. I had the same thing last year. Like, what's Yubi gonna bring out? And the only Yubi game I enjoyed last year was Far Cry 6, whereas normally I do enjoy Ubisoft games. And then they were gonna do some more Division 2 content, and it was gonna be revealed in February. Now it has been delayed indefinitely. It's gonna happen this year, but they don't know when. And
Mm.
you basically don't know what's going to come out from Ubisoft, and that's kind of strange. They said that the Star Wars game is at least going to be 2025, 2026. The Avatar game might make an appearance at this event. So it's like it's so confusing because you're not used to Ubi being like this.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? I don't know. I think they need to clean house before they can actually move forward properly. I think that's kind of what's. I think the internal stuff has been kind of messing up their time schedules, and also just their production in general.
I think that their sole focus has been open world live service games, and I feel like people are kind of having this open world live
Fatigue.
service fatigue, at least from Ubisoft, because the games rarely do something new. It's usually it's getting to the point where it just feels like a reskin because it's like a lot of Ubisoft other game elements put into one game. Maybe they come up with one or two new things, and then when they announce another new game, they just put pull the cover push it over and then add another
Mm.
two things, and then yeah, eventually you're like, yeah, but it's still an open world with a tower climbing mechanic to reveal the map, and there are microtransactions in it for outfits, and it's like do better, just do better, man.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. I think. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk
there are
about?
two more things, and
Ooh.
the first
Okay.
one is a service that got announced yesterday that I don't think a lot of people are happy with. It is called GTA Plus, and it is a subscription-based service, monthly subscription-based service for $5.99 every month that will give you extra perks and benefits for GTA Online.
Oh my God, they're pulling in Fallout 76, aren't they?
I don't know, but people are not really happy with it. Um,
Yeah, no kidding.
there will
That
be
no, seriously, that is literally what Fallout 76 did. They introduced a subscription service monthly, and people already did not like Fallout 76.
yeah,
Why on earth would you introduce a subscription service to a game that people don't even like?
yeah. But the
This is
thing
even
is,
worse because GTA Online has been around since when?
GTA 5 on the
2000,
PS3,
I want to say 14,
something like
15?
that, I think.
And now you're bringing a
Yeah,
subscription service.
yeah. But the thing is, the reason they're probably doing it is because GTA Online keeps on bringing in money. So they're like, oh, it's not like that the player base is dwindling. It
No,
keeps on
the
bringing
player
in
base
money.
keeps giving them money.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So it will be monthly rotating benefits, and you need to claim them from different vendors. If you don't, you lose them. Um,
Oh, they're even gonna make you work for it?
yeah. So
Wow.
some of the things is you'll get a cash bonus of 500,000 delivered to your bank account. The Principal Divist 8 is something I have no idea what it is. I don't play GT Online. The auto shop located in La Mesa introduces an assortment of gameplay updates from Los Santos tuners. Current auto shop owners can relocate to La Mesa at no additional cost. You'll get bonus RP on races, extra money, some cars, I think, or some
Mm,
weapons or outfits. Yacht owners can upgrade to the Aquarius super yacht at no additional cost. Um, I have zero excitement for this. It just sounds
I
like
have negative 100 excitement for this. And
well,
I didn't even play the game.
yeah. Um, that. And my second thing is that Gran Turismo 7 had a patch this week, which caused
All right.
yeah, it caused an outage that lasted 30 hours. A lot of people were upset because Gran Turismo has this mechanic. It's basically like an online DRM. You have to have an online connection to be able to play even the single player of the game.
That
So
is the
people were
stupidest
already
thing
pissed.
ever.
And then the outage lasted 30 hours because they brought out a patch and the patch broke the game. So they had to develop a new patch and redeploy that patch to fix the bad patch. But after the patch was rolled out and everything was working, people noticed that the races started to pay less money compared to how it was before the patch. So it made it even more of a grind. Gran Turismo has, of course, been getting a lot of flack for it suddenly activating microtransactions because in the review
After the
period,
reviews went out.
yeah, in the
And
review period,
reviewers
it
were
wasn't there.
pissed because they're like, yo, if we knew about this microtransactions, you would not be getting the score that you got.
Exactly. So now Kazunori Yamauchi has made an apology on the PlayStation blog and has said that everybody will get 1 million free credits because of the downtime, which is nice, and that they will bring out a series of patches that will change the in-game economy, that will either revert the credit payout to what it originally was or will balance it out more, and that
Hmm.
they're also working on other new features such as the ability to sell cars. Um, and they will add more races that will have higher payout of credits to offset the in-game economy. Plus, there was a limit on how much in-game currency you could have. So if you grinded the in-game currency, you could have like 20 million. But if you bought the in-game currency, apparently you could
There
go.
was no limit
There was
on
no
it.
limit. So now they've increased the internal cap from 20 million to 100 million. And yeah, that's basically it. The weird thing for me about this is that Gran Turismo has never been like this. So it feels like this beloved franchise that's finally going back to its roots and making a lot of people happy with it. And then they drop the ball by adding this whole microtransaction part to it that actually ruins the experience for people. Um, I I cannot imagine that when Sony wanted to do more live service games, they immediately went to the crook option. They turned the dial
You're
to crook,
surprised by
yeah,
that?
to crook, yeah. Because I mean, let's be honest, Sony has always been like for the players, and this does not feel like for the players. This feels like for the shareholders, and it hurts to say that
Yeah,
as a
this
Sony
is,
fan.
yeah, I mean, this is like, how do I say this properly? I mean, this is basically what happens when companies get way too complacent. And Sony got really complacent because they won the last console war with Microsoft. And that's funny because like 10 years ago like almost 10 years ago they were like, oh, this is how you share a game on PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
Give a disc
yeah,
and you can play it offline. Our games will never require online to play single player. I guess they forgot about that.
yeah. I mean, I don't understand why Gran Turismo needs an online connection to play. I mean, it, it's a
For
race
single player,
game. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a single play race game.
Yeah, I don't know
And the
either.
weird thing is
It's
also if
stupid.
you buy the PS4 version, there's no free upgrade to the PS5 version. You need to pay $10 to upgrade it. Because
Yeah, they said that they was gonna do that after Horizon.
yeah, but
Like
apparently not.
Horizon was gonna be the last game that was gonna have a free upgrade,
Yeah,
which is stupid because even Elden Ring has a free upgrade to PlayStation 5.
so that's my point.
Ah, well.
Yeah, I think with that we've
Um,
covered it all.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for bringing up those last two articles. I almost forgot about the GTA, the Gran Turismo thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
Even though I really wanted to talk about that. Oh boy, Sony, 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 Sony. You have to really be careful.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we'll be right back with what we've been playing. So stick around and we'll be right back. and gentlemen, to the second segment, which is, of course, what we've been playing. I know that you haven't been feeling well, Sean Templar, but what if you have been playing anything lately?
Uh, yeah. So I thought that I was gonna play a lot since I'm sick at home, but I wasn't really in the mood for it. So I played a little bit of Cyberpunk on the PlayStation 5. It's going slowly because I need to be in the mood for it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean it's fun. It's gonna take a while for me to finish it. I think maybe one of the reasons why I'm also a little bit slow with it is because I finished Horizon Forbidden West, which was this massive open world game, and I don't know if playing another massive open world game is very.
it's right up your alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I played instead was Guardians of the Galaxy because it's available on Game Pass. So I played it on the
Mm.
PC with my Xbox controller. It's a really fun game. I didn't expect it. It's actually, yeah. When I was playing, I was like, "Whoa, this is nothing like Avengers. This is actually fun to play." Uh, but the weird thing is I cannot. I'm not an Xbox controller type kind of guy. I have to look at the
Mm-mm.
controls every time there's a button prompt on the screen. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just buy it on the PlayStation because it's on sale. Even though the version I'm playing is the best version because it's running on 4K high 60 FPS. It just feels weird to play it on my PC. It's also not comfy because I don't have a really comfy chair. I'd rather just be a couch potato and play it on my PlayStation. So I'm considering buying it on the PlayStation. It's like $30 right now, and I'm like, that's fine.
Mm,
But yeah, it's a fun game. I played like maybe an hour and a half of it. Um,
mm,
it's cool that there's a lot of banter between the characters and the combats so far it's pretty fun. Your teammates have abilities they can use but also help you out with puzzles in the environment. So like there's these parts where there's a gap between two platforms and you can't jump it because the gap is too big. Then you can ask Groot to make like this tree bridge out of his arms. Or when there's like tight spaces, you can ask Rocket to go in and to solve a puzzle there, and then you can progress into the next area. The voice acting is pretty cool. Everybody knows that the music is spot on, so that's good. It looks really pretty. It's just really colorful, and uh, so I haven't played a lot. Oh, there goes my camera again.
camera.
I haven't played a lot of it, so but like the story so far is pretty interesting. From a
Mm,
lot of people I spoke to that played the game, they were like, "Yeah, this is a pretty surprise hit." It's everybody was thinking it's going to be like Avengers, and it turned out to be something completely different. Because I like the games Eidos Montreal makes. Like they used to make the Deus Ex games. So when they announced Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna ruin your reputation by making this game." But it even won some awards. So it's definitely a game that a lot of people recommended me. And I was like, "It's gonna go for it." So I'm thinking about buying it on the PlayStation. I might do it today. I don't know. And yeah, there's a lot of other games on sale in the PlayStation Store as well. Like Hades is on sale. Death's Door is on sale, which I heard is a great one. I'm a bit in doubt if I should buy it on the Switch or on the PlayStation. Um,
I don't think you could go wrong in either way, but I think Death's Door is a way more pick up and play kind of game. So it's
yeah,
like easier to pick up and play. So I don't know. I think it
yeah,
fits better on Switch, but you can't go with wrong in either
yeah.
sense.
I heard it's a really cool game, so I'm thinking about that one. But um, yeah, I still want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have the PS5 version because it was like eventually they offered like a free upgrade last year, so I got it.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, so the PlayStation Plus version we will allow you to play the PlayStation 5 version." It's
yeah,
like,
which was weird, but they
why were
allowed
you being such jerks about it to begin with?
it. Yeah.
Whatever. At
But
least they did it.
yeah, I haven't been playing a lot, mostly because I feel like I need to detox still because of Horizon, and I'm just catching up on a lot of TV shows. Plus, I got
Also
COVID.
detox from the Rona.
Yeah, so like I'm in this really weird situation where like normally I don't have enough time to do stuff. Now I have all the time in the world, but I just don't feel like doing stuff. So it's like a really weird luxury position to be in. I bet a lot of people that are listening to this are like, "Oh, I wish I was in your position now with a lot of time on my hands."
Yeah.
But yeah, one funny thing that I did notice is that, and I didn't mention it in the previous segment, is that overnight, literally, graphic card prices have started to drop considerably, like almost to the point where they got to pre-shortage. So like a
Really?
yeah, so like an RDX 3080 by, because the tough one made by Asus is one of the most popular ones, and you can
Hmm.
get the overclocked version now for 1119 euros, which is a normal, pretty normal price. Because as far as I remember, that card was
Hmm.
around 1100 euros when it was initially announced. And like
Interesting.
even the ROG version is like 1200 euros, whereas a couple of months ago these cards were 16, 18, 2500 euros.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know where this is suddenly coming from. I checked the Nvidia website; their supply is still sold out for the Founders Edition. But if you want a 3080, you can just order one, and you could still order one and get one the next day, like weeks and months ago. But it was for this ridiculous pricing. But
Hmm.
prices are suddenly going down, um, and everybody's expecting Nvidia to announce new cards within the next couple of months. And there are also rumors that they're going to keep the 30 series next to the 40 series so people can choose. Um, but I was like, whoa, maybe it's finally time to upgrade my PC with a new graphics card.
That's actually a good one. Dang.
Yeah. But the weird thing is just it happened overnight from one day to the next.
Hmm. Yeah, you know what? My friend told me about it. You know, uh, my best friend told me about it.
Huh.
It's like, yeah, graphics card are like suspicious. Like, apparently the prices were starting to get lower, and they're like, it's like the graphics card are looking like suspiciously like affordable now. Maybe I
Yeah.
should upgrade.
Yeah.
But if you're saying like it went down even more, that's super weird.
Yeah. Like
I
I,
mean, that's good. It's great,
yeah,
but how long is that gonna last?
I don't know. But
That's the
like,
weird part.
I would say just because it's global, it's not a Dutch thing. It is global because it started
Hmm.
in, when I read the article, it started in Australia where the prices started to go down, and then the article
Hmm.
said like you'll start to notice this through the rest of the world in the coming days. And then I instantly checked the prices here. It's like, oh, 3080 is 1100 euros, and that is, I mean, like the regular 3080, the Founders Edition, is 760 euros. So you're
Hmm.
paying a little bit more for the board partners, but that's normal because it's the board partners. You know, it has three fans, it has RGB, it has a beefier cooler. You know, it has double BIOS or whatever. I don't know, but I'm like, whoa, because yeah, a friend of mine, our friend, the rocket scientist, he had bought
Hmm.
a 3080, but he hadn't gotten it. So like you could pre-order one, and he did it last year, and he pre-ordered it for more than what the card is going at right now. So
Ooh,
that's how far much the prices have come down.
dang, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but like he can get his money back if he wants, or he can pay more to upgrade to another version. I told him like, no, just get your money back and buy it from a different shop because you can get the same card for
Yeah,
cheaper. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that probably.
yeah, that's probably the best way to go.
Yeah,
Cool. Huh.
it's,
Good on you.
yeah. But that's basically what I've been doing. What have you been playing?
Well, I think I talked about it in the last episode, but I had my 8 hour, scratch that, 9 hour streaming extravaganza to celebrate uh getting 200 plus followers on Twitch. Played a lot of games. Played some Mario Kart. Played some Astroneer,
Nice.
which was really fun. Played some Dark Souls. More on that in a bit. And then did a little bit of karaoke,
That was funny.
which was really fun to do.
It was even
But it was
funnier
a
to
fun,
watch.
funny. But it was a really fun time. Fun was had by all. I thank everyone that was there. Um, but like I said, I started playing Dark Souls on the stream, and I really got into playing Dark Souls again. So I've been playing that on stream for the past two streams that I did, and I also play it offline, of course. I suck at the game, but I'm learning. I'm getting better. I'm doing more parrying, and less backstabbing. Recently on the stream, I defeated this like stupid mini boss that just kept getting at me, and then like I was about to end the stream. I was like, and right at that point, I got in the zone, and I was like, I was getting my hits in. I was dodging almost perfectly. I might get hit once, and then it's like, oh yeah, okay, like calm down and like take it easy, and then like heal, take a swig of my Estus flask, go back in again, get a few hits in, and I whittled his health down, and then I killed him. I was so happy. Ah, my god, it was so much fun to share that online on the stream, and I've been playing that a lot. You're gonna hate me, but I also been playing some Fortnite, mostly because Fortnite.
Building is out.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to
Yeah,
check it out.
yeah.
But then again,
Is it?
I barely built anyways the recently, so
Yeah,
it's
but
like for
that's
me
good
the
because
only
it levels the playing
yeah,
field. Because the reason why I
it
never
does.
played Fortnite or stopped playing it is because by the time I built a square box, people had built whole castles. So you're like, didn't feel fair. But yeah.
At least I don't know. Maybe on the Switch the player base is a bit different, but on Switch, not a lot of people were building anyways, and if they
Mm.
did, they built crappy stuff that you could take down relatively easily if you know what you were doing. Um, but they added a few mechanics that are interesting. They added climbing.
Oh,
Like you could
okay.
like if you jumped and if it was not too high,
Yeah.
you can climb on top,
Wow.
which is basically what circumvents you building because normally you would build so that you can get on top of
Yeah.
like a roof or something. Now you don't have that ability. So instead they gave you the ability to climb. They gave you a run, but you can run now,
You could
but
always
running
run,
is
right?
limited. Yes, but now it's limited
Oh.
and it's faster.
Oh. Okay.
And like in Apex Legends, you can crouch into a slide.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can slide around on your knees, and depending on like if you're on a slope, you can slide even further and blah blah blah. And you have like I said, you have a stamina bar now for your running because running is faster, and you can jump further and higher while running.
Okay.
So you can do like a running jump.
Okay. And they
Yeah.
also added like a over shield or something like that on top of the normal
Yes.
shield. Yeah.
They basically added the Halo shield.
Hmm.
So when you're jumping out of the bus, the shield starts recharging. So you have like a 50 shield that recharges over time. So
Mm-hmm.
even if you lose it, it recharges over time as long as you're not getting hit.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's on top of the 100 shield that you can put on top of,
Hmm.
when you drink your shield potions and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's interesting. I apparently it's a temporary thing. I think by the time you're listening to this, that should not be the case anymore, but I don't know. I don't pay attention to Fortnite news. I saw that and I was like, okay, I have to kind of check this out and see
Yeah.
how it is. I still haven't gotten a victory royale since. I've gotten really, really close. Like the last time I played, I got second place, and the only reason I got second place is because this bastard was like sniping me from over a ridge, and I could see him and I could snipe him, but every shot I took missed, and I'm not
Uh,
sure why. Maybe my aim was too low, but he was so far that I couldn't really like aim properly. So I don't know. Maybe it was me. But
okay.
yeah, that's basically what I've been playing.
Nice. Oh, nice and
Yeah.
concise. Yeah.
Nice and concise.
On that note, I'll lead us out, and I can go back to
If you would
being
please.
bored and not knowing what to play. So thank you everybody as always for tuning in to another episode of Game Rivals. You can find us on your favorite podcasting platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Stitcher, Google Play, you name it, we're probably there. You can find us on YouTube as well. The video version always goes up the same time the audio version goes up. You'll find the link for the YouTube version in the description of this episode for the audio version, because there's about more game rivals out there on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter at game underscore rivals underscore. You can find us on um, whoa. I'm having a brain fart. You can reach us through email, gamerivalsfeedback at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Um, we're on Twitch, twitch.tv/ Maximilian underscore X and / Sean Templar. We're on Instagram at Game Rivals at Maximilian underscore X. Same goes for TikTok. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but I think I've got them all.
Mm,
I have this every time, and I do it
yeah,
weird.
Game Rivals on Instagram, Game
Yeah,
Rivals on TikTok. Yeah, I think that's it.
yeah. On that note, I have been and always will be Sean Templar,
And I have been and always will be Maximilian X.
and we'll see you in Fortnite.
Late.